Hey everyone, welcome back. I just wanted to come back and do a reading this time on the Hurricane Florence that is affecting the North and South Carolina right now and the extreme flooding that they are dealing with at the moment. And I wanted to just kind of, give my thoughts that, we're thinking about you all and, that you all come through this, you'll come through this strongly. That, to have strength, and I know you all do. I don't know if any of you would even watch this right now because you're probably too busy trying to get out of the harm's way. And then when this hurricane finally passes over, or it's probably a tropical storm now. I haven't actually checked the news yet to see what's going on, but our thoughts are with all of you that you make it through safely. I have also lighted a candle in memory of those who have currently lost their lives due to this storm, that your memory may live on and that you may make it home safely. So, and to all of you who make it home safely. So here you go. Our thoughts are with you, each and every one of you. You're all important to us. So, all right. So what I wanted to do was to do a reading this time on, I'm going to kind of put those up there. We'll see how it happens. But I wanted to do a reading this time just basically on the energies that are occurring so far and to kind of get just a general reading of what the energy is moving through with this storm. Perhaps some responses will come out. Currently, what sort of is FEMA on it? Is our government on it? It's kind of strange, but maybe you've seen it. Maybe you guys have sensed it too, but does it feel like we have like two different governments running? You've got Trump, who before the storm told us that this is a tremendously big and a tremendously wet storm. So, okay. So that came out. But then, he then just goes off on these tweets about, Puerto Rico, which just doesn't make things any better for him. It makes things actually worse. And so here we are. We're dealing with the current events of the hurricane. And I don't know if it's still a tropical, or if it's still a Category 1, if it's now a tropical storm. My gut feeling says it's a tropical storm. They're just dealing with tons of rain, tons of flooding. And the storm is moving extraordinarily slow. So this is a very trying time for them. They're doing a deal with a ton of water damage, a ton of flooding. So anyways, so I kind of want to see when I say two different governments are running, it's like, you do have a portion of the government definitely mobilizing and trying to do stuff. And then but FEMA then, for some strange reason, put out a website to dispel fake news. What is that? What is that? It's like propaganda. It's like, and I know it's coming from the administration. So anyways, but that's not the focus of this. This focus is what sort of response are we going to get? What is the situation with the hurricane? Where is it moving? What sort of cleanup are we dealing with? I just kind of want to know what the movement of energy is within the energy stream about this situation. So let's get moving and let's see what we find out, right? All right. So let us ask about Hurricane Florence and the people on the East Coast, the energies that we're moving through. How is everything going? Okay, and how's the responses going to be? I feel like the things will be fine, but the challenges that we're going to be faced with are going to be interesting. So I wonder if we're just dealing with just human challenges, dealing with the hurricane, or if we're dealing with those challenges, including government and Trump's responses to all of it, because he does seem to have a very large impact every time he says something. So. All right, let's see what we can come up with. All right. Nostalgia. Okay. Harkening back. So this is the past. Now, when you're dealing with the overarching theme, it could very well be, it's like people are just kind of wishing that, that maybe they were more prepared for the storm if maybe they would have heeded the warnings to go out. I mean, it's kind of the 50-50 hindsight thing is going on. There's probably questions of whether or not we have learned from the mistakes of the past. Have we learned from the mistakes of all the previous hurricanes that came out with the Trump administration, who has not mobilized effectively or even spoken effectively? So there's a lot of hearkening to the past to deal with what's going on in the future. So we're hoping for good outcomes, I would say, because, this is kind of like, when you look at this card, it could be a fond memory of the past, of things before tragedy. Anytime we kind of look at things before and then we look at things after, and we reflect upon the past. So that's where that is. So there could be a lot of things happening. A lot of people probably thinking, yeah, I should have listened to authorities, or you have other people going, oh, I really hope my home, my life, my belongings, everything is still there when this whole thing moves forward, moves out of the energy. So, all right. So in the past, we have some new energy, new hard work. So I would probably say this is mobilizing the Coast Guards, mobilizing FEMA, mobilizing things into position, people stockpiling, preparing for this event, preparing for the hurricane to come in. So it's a lot of material preparing, people boarding up their houses, a lot of preparing, a lot of preparation. So the current is the government is paying attention. The government is paying attention to what's happening. I mean, they're probably talking about, the damages. The people that are actually working are probably paying attention to the situation. They're analyzing what they're going to need to do. They've already mobilized things. So I would probably say the government has mobilized for this situation. In a lot of respects, they don't want to make the same mistakes as they've done in the past, regardless of who's in the White House. Like I said, it feels like there's like two different governments functioning here. So you have the portion that's trying to function without their leadership. They are paying attention. They are mobilizing. They have, they've moved things into place to kind of help the situation. With the extreme flooding, the getting out there, searching for people, rescuing people who are trapped. So, right. The challenge is going to be mobility. So with the flooding, absolutely, we have some mobility challenges. Obviously, with the hurricane currently in progress, with the winds being at such high speeds, getting to these places of where people need help is going to be a challenge. It's like helicopters can't fly when the wind is too high, and people are trying to get out in boats. You probably will not be able to drive to a lot of these areas. So mobilizing and moving is going to be a challenge. So getting movement is going to be a challenge. So the outcome is a lot of emotions. There's going to be a lot of emotions in the general public. The emotions are high and they're very tense. It's like, you got the people who are directly affected, who are very emotional. They're, they got their fingers crossed. They're hoping for the best. They see the images come in from the news and their heart sinks. It's a very emotional time. The rest of the country that is not directly affected by this is paying attention to what the government is doing and how they're assisting, because of the failures of the past. They're wondering if the government is going to fail again. So emotions, it's kind of a tense situation, but we're flanked here by two aces. So we're flanked by beginnings, so the beginning of the storm, the how the response is. So the beginning of anxiety. So when the storm passes, it's going to move from the preparation to, is everything okay? Is my stuff okay? Is my life, do I still have a home to go to? Is it underwater? I mean, has been blown over by the winds. I mean, there's so much, and emotions are high because they see these huge oak tree, or these huge trees that have fallen on houses, and the storm has claimed lives so far. People's emotions are high. Okay, let's see what the story builds. So we're dealing with, we got the beginning of the storm to the end of the storm. So, okay. So, people are wondering, this is, the working hard but not satisfied. People are wondering if they've done enough. Have they done enough to prepare for this storm that came in? Have they done enough? Was it enough? Did I save my things? Suspension. So right now, everything is in suspended mode. Everybody is kind of holding their breath. The storm is still hovering over. It's still active. Everything is kind of just in suspension. People are watching. They're waiting. They're waiting for the storm to move out. So that would make perfect sense. So everything is in suspension right now. We're waiting the storm out. When it finishes and it moves out, people will start to move in and start with the cleanup process. So, all right. The new beginnings is going to be a challenge. So I would probably say with this card, we do have quite a bit of, there's going to be a lot of damage. I don't see destruction yet. I just see a lot of damage, and it's going to be quite expensive, because it's going to be thinking about, what sort of money is going to have to be brought into the situation in order to rebuild, in order to take care of things, because everything is in suspension. You have to wait for the water to go down before you can really assess what the damages are. So a new beginning is going to be difficult. It's going to be a challenge. But everybody has to wait for the storm to pass first. All right. So there's going to be a retreat. So the storm is going to retreat. Okay. The storm's going to retreat. It's not going to retreat back onto the ocean. It's going to move on, but it's going to break up. So it's going to retreat. I'm trying to figure out how this works with the people. The inner reflection, the finding their way, that's it. The star in the lamp, finding their way back to their homes, finding their way. And this could also be the government trying to find the path forward in order to begin the process of cleanup, begin the process of restoration. There is definitely going to be more thought given to how the response is going to be doled out by the government, because of the past and how things have kind of fallen apart. So these storms are getting bigger. These storms and the dramatic changes in our climate it's not global warming, but we're definitely dealing with extremes. We're dealing with, extreme heat, or we're dealing with extreme cold, and we have extreme storms, and we have extreme fires. So we've got storms that are bigger, stronger, events that are bigger and stronger within the weather system that is definitely causing some reflection on how to handle these storms. So, you have the people that are in the White House right now can deny climate change, or they can deny changes or whatever is going on, and say, this is, science is fake news. Anyways, but you do have people who are the responders, who are reflecting, who are trying to make some adjustments, make some changes. We have two reflection cards, seeing things from a new perspective, and also the Hermit card. So finding a way forward, using the star to guide you, these storms to guide them in order to help them make the adjustments and the changes necessary. So, okay. So, yes, definitely This storm has definitely shook the foundations for a lot of people. A lot of people evacuated. A lot of people heeded the warnings and left. A lot of people who did not heed the warnings, many of them are discovering their little tower moments. They're finding themselves in difficult situations and trying to find their way out. So that's pretty self-explanatory. So preparations were made. Was it enough? And then those who have heeded the warning have left, but they're still affected by tower, even though their lives may be okay, because that's actually the most important thing. Property, material things are not the most important thing. Their lives are okay, but they're still wondering what they're going to come home to. And the people who rode out the storm and are finding themselves completely flooded are definitely experiencing their tower moment and trying to, get to safety, get to safer grounds, And like I said, unfortunately, some people have lost their lives already to this storm. So, all right. The Queen energy. So currently, I would probably say this is Mother Earth, all right? Because, she is the mother. She is. It's the storm is kind of a cleansing. And it's the going out and this energy that goes out. And it, this mothering energy of the Queen is the earth it's kind of on a cleansing path. It's not cleansing to the people. Okay, that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about cleansing to the earth, to herself. So, sometimes she needs to be able to do all this stuff so she can flourish and grow. And sometimes these storms are necessary to the proper function of her body, that we may live upon her. And because we have become creatures that establish roots, we build houses and stuff, we're not mobile, so we're not always able to get out of her way when she does this. But the thing is, like I said, it's much more powerful. They're stronger than before. And so they definitely create moments that have towers for people. So Mother Earth is still barreling through. It is not ended yet, so she is still on the march. Okay. So the balance. So a lot of these people, when the storm is over, so they're, and this could be a shift of emotions, or not emotions, of thoughts. It's like these rapid shifts of thoughts. So you have, okay, oh my gosh, do I have a home to go to? And then your shift to going, well, how am I going to make money? Everything has been disrupted. This back and forth, this balancing act is a challenge for them, and it will be a challenge, especially when the storm passes. It'll be a challenge for them to balance those things out, balance cleanup, balance going back to work, if there's a work to go to. So there's a lot of emotions overriding. It's very complex. We're not, we have so many things going through our minds as we're dealing with this storm. So, but there's hope. So the outcome is hope. There's hope. There's hope to rebuild. There's hope that, despite all the chaos coming out of our government right now, there is hope that it's going to function, that they're going to get the help they need, that the government is going to function, that the people are going to band together to come forward and fix things. And I'm telling you, this is a coming together. People are, political things aside, political beliefs aside, that's all going to go to the wayside. People are going to start coming together. They're going to start pushing forward. They're going to start working together, because it's time to rebuild from what is going on. So I kind of feel like that this is a pretty hopeful outcome. I see damages. I don't see a lot of, not too much loss. There's going to be some loss, but it's not going to be on a devastation level. It's going to be, definitely a lot of property damage. Definitely there has been some loss of life, But I definitely see that that people are going to come together. It doesn't seem like there's a lot of hope. There's a lot of hope that they can be rebuilt. There is hope, and hope is a nice thing to have when, you know, when you're dealing with tragedy. So, like I said before, I was like, I really wish that it didn't take a tragedy to bring us all together. I think we should be able to come together without this tragedy. So we really need to look to each other, help each other. And so here's my last card. So, the Fool's Journey. So, new beginnings, definitely. We have new. There's a nostalgia for, you know, did we do enough? Did we do enough to prepare for this tower? It's here. We're looking to the government to mobilize. We're in suspension as the storm is moving through. This is Mother Earth making her changes that is necessary for herself. And it's just we're in the way. We just happen to be in the place that it is. So, and this is going to happen all over the world. Obviously, it's like Hawaii. It's like any sort of, you're going to see these extreme weathers. You're going to see extreme weathers while the earth is metabolizing and balancing itself out, because she is kind of out of balance right now. So, but the challenge is mobility. The challenge will be the beginning to the cleanup and the people's fears of the back and forth, the balancing of their lives, of the cleanup of their, you know, there's a lot of uncertainty, which brings to the emotions. There's going to be some inner reflection for the government, I believe, of how are we going to mobilize? How are we going to not make the same mistakes of the past? But there's hope. People are hopeful. There's hope that things will be okay. There's and the Fool's Journey definitely says that we are going to be embarking. You know, the march of the energies that keep shifting and keep changing. The march is moving forward to this new journey that we will all be taking together. So, all right. I hope this helps. I hope it gives some sort of light to the situation. I think it's not a bad reading as it reflects to the collective for this storm. This storm definitely shows that the government is trying to not make same mistakes. Now, it doesn't mean they won't make a same mistake, because you know what? They can make a foolish choice that causes a problem. You know, fool is not always goody two-shoes and stuff. We could make foolish decisions, so, but it could also be a new journey that will launch us into something new. So we will see, but it definitely looks like people are definitely paying closer attention. They are focusing more on making sure they don't make same mistakes. So I hope you enjoy this reading. I will talk to you until next time. Thanks. Bye.